Well, good morning. It is Monday morning, and I have a special guest in our studio this morning that's going to be with me for the entire week.
Wow. I think we need to go change clothes in between.
No, we'll hold on. We'll be able to do this for the entire week. And I'm speaking about the instability in the world.
Yeah.
What brings stability?
Sure. Well, stability is something that we're longing for. At this stage, I think we are in the most unstable times that we have seen in history. And 2020 came upon us with a slow start, like, oh yeah, people heard about this virus that broke out somewhere, and that just led to so many other things. I think from there it snowballed, and we see how people are questioning everything. And I think the thing that has tired us out in 2020 and has made things so tiresome is the thing that every day you're hearing of new things, you're hearing of something that is uncertain. And that brings uncertainty, brings instability.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen a lot of that.
Well, Jesus said in Matthew 24, and note what he says. He says there are going to be false Christs. He goes on to say wars, rumors of wars, nations rising against nations, famines, pestilence, earthquakes. All these things we are experiencing.
And we thought many years ago already, that these things were present, but I think it's stepped up a level. Where we're saying it's not just present, but it's affecting the whole world at this stage.
Yes. We can argue that this has been around since Cain killed Abel, since Adam fell, since sin was introduced into the world. We can say, well, this has all been around. But what I'm seeing in this, the instability within this world today, is that it's growing.
Yes.
It's not declining. It's not getting better. In actual fact, things are getting worse around us. We see the famines that there are in nations becoming worse. We see the floods that are taking place around the world. We see that increasing. In Australia, they said they've had the hottest day in history.
Sure.
In some parts of Australia. Now again, we see climate change. This is bringing instability into the world.
Yes.
And I believe, and this is personally, I believe again, that without God there is no stability. And what I see as a result of this instability, that nations are pushing God aside.
Sure. I think we spoke about this a while back, that man has tried in many ways to remove God.
Yes.
And I do believe there is a consequence for that.
Absolutely.
And as we do also understand that that God's times are running, God's time is always going, God is always knowing what's happening and what's going to happen.
Yes.
I do think that we have some accountability for what we've done.
Oh, absolutely.
And humankind are saying at this point, when you talk about instability in the world, I think we as humans are saying, we don't have the answers. Governments don't have the answers. Politicians are running around like headless chickens. I'm not criticizing that, but I do say that the problems have become so big that people are struggling to solve them in their own wisdom. And that's where we as Christians are saying, God, we need you to bring stability. And God is stable. He doesn't move.
Wonderful.
He doesn't change. He doesn't fret. He doesn't say, oh, it's this crisis. God already knew what was coming.
Well, we're heading to Christmas, and you said to me just before the program that somebody sent you a little snippet of the stable.
Oh, yes. That was a very interesting saying. I'll read it to you quickly here. That was on Sunday. A very good one by a teacher in our church. I was actually mentioned her, Shelley Burke, if you're listening, Shelley. Stability from the one who was born in a stable.
There we go. So
our stability.
Our stability was born in the stable.
Yeah.
Whoa, we're heading towards Christmas, so it's wonderful to speak about that. Who brings stability into the world?
Yes.
He was born some 2,000 years ago.
And so unassuming, like people saying like, where would stability come from? A baby born in a stable. And that's what I love about God, that the humility of Christ. He comes in and he has the solution, but he's not boasting about it.
Yes.
He's not saying, listen, guys, I'm this great king.
Yes.
But he shows it through servanthood.
Yes, absolutely. Now, there are many facts we are facing that the world past never faced. And I thought about this because we see the things. And one of the facts is the world has become a village.
Wow.
So
Global villages.
yeah, you can connect to anybody within moments. You have a sister in Holland.
Yep.
You can pick up your phone now, within a few seconds you can be talking to her.
Face to face.
Face to face. And so we live in this world that seemed sci-fi to many is now becoming a reality.
Cars can fly.
Cars can fly. I watched last night, in actual fact, that it's called Gravity. This guy's invented a machine that he can put into his hands. He's got a little back and he can fly.
Yes, jetpack.
Man flying, jetpack. And these guys are doing it. It's like, come on, what is happening?
Yeah.
You know, technology has advanced. Don't you think we're also in this kind of time of the Tower of Babel?
Well, man has always believed that they can, for some reason, it's become increasingly evident that we believe that we can build something that doesn't need God.
Yes.
And as we mentioned earlier, that was the Tower of Babel, wasn't it? They
Yes.
said, we can build a tower to heaven.
Yes.
And God says, no, you can't.
I like that.
You will, that's the thing of,
Yes.
God doesn't share his glory.
Doesn't share his glory.
Yeah.
Secondly, the World Bank is working to one world currency. Do you know that? They said in a matter of a few years' time, the entire world will be under one currency. So what is that telling us?
Well, it tells us that there's a certain amount of control that
Yes.
can come with one anything. Because if there's one anything, it means there's one grouping of people that
That's
control that.
Well, thirdly, never in the past the world could lock down nations as what they've locked down. The entire nations of the world
Yeah.
were locked down at one time, one given time. This has never happened in the history of time.
Yes. Yeah, we've seen it in isolated nations. We've
Yes,
seen it in the
isolated.
Spanish flu. We've
Yes.
seen it in those things. But as you say, this is right across all nations.
And fourthly, this is the most interesting one of all, is world leaders are creating their space forces, ready for the invasion of aliens.
Of the green men. Oh Lord, it's so funny that you said it on Sunday.
Yeah.
You said Jesus is coming back on the clouds. It's what the people are preparing themselves for is in actual fact something they don't know anything about in many ways because the world is so fixated on the unknown,
Yes.
on aliens. Someone's
Yes.
out there listening. Someone's out there that's going to help us with greater knowledge and greater technology. Yes, we do know. His name is God.
Absolutely.
His name is Jesus. But it's like that two parts coming
Parts
together
coming
and saying,
together.
okay, we're going to have this invasion. We know Armageddon's coming.
It's coming. Well, if you want to, I suggest then you grab a hold of your Bible, read Matthew chapter 24, and again, what we are speaking about this morning, you will see really unfolding in the reading that you will read it. So, I trust you got something this morning,
Yeah.
and keep trusting God, and remember that He is our stability in this unstable world we are living in.